Good, bro. Yeah, thought I'd change it up. I got a few new tunes too. I need to find like a hold on, give me a sec. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to make like a playlist so when I stream the music change on its own. But for now, no, I don't make them. I find them online. Most of them are the beginning, the ones I had previously. It was a guy in the Discord. He makes beats, Valletta beats. But I think I had worn them out, you know. I had been using the same music over and over again, so I found some online, some little free beats. You search on Google and stuff for free background music. I found some. I used to make beats, but that was years ago. I don't even have the equipment anymore. What's going on with you tonight, man? Beats are too loud. Let's appreciate the criticism. Sure need to be aware of that. Let's see if we could turn it down. I was away from the mic too. I was lounged back in my chair, but let's see here. Okay, give me a sec. Maybe this is better. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Mic check, mic check. Let me try turning me up to, well, I'm up pretty much. I could turn the master mic up. Yeah, all right, cool. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, like I was saying, no, I don't make them. It's a guy in the YouTube. The previous videos I had, like the first few live streams and videos I put out, it's a guy named Valletta. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, that goes a long way. Like, I'm trying to move up. Like, I don't know, I've been kind of getting burnt out on making content. So like, I've been having all these live streams where I don't talk much, but I need to actually make some videos. Like, I skipped out on my midweek analysis. But I got some videos I planned. Maybe I'll put out this weekend, next weekend, between now and next weekend, about trading psychology. because that was a big issue for me today. Was just letting go of losers and stuff, and just psychology in general with trading. I kind of struggled with that the first half of the week. I feel a little better now, but I'm still a little pissed off that I screwed the pooch on my funded account. So like, just right now while it's like live and in living color, I thought I'd put out some psychology videos on trading. Cause like, it's not a matter of knowing what's wrong. It's just implementing the changes that's necessary to fix the issues. Like over trading, ego, being right, holding on to a bias when it's trading against you. Stuff like that. Like I know, how to fix it, but knowing like the old G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle type situation. So since this is a journal of my journey, I figured I'd put out some videos just on what's on my mind about trading psychology. Yeah, it's like they always say, it's the hardest easy money you'll ever make. Like, 90% of trading has nothing to do with your entry and exit criteria. I'd say 90% of it is just psychology and having the confidence to execute when you're fearful. And also on that same note, like having the courage to take the loss and not trade your P&L and just look for the next trade. Like, sometimes when you take a loss, it's like, nah, my first trade has to be a win. No, it's not necessarily true. So just dealing with stuff like that, and with a topic that's sensitive, it's not nothing that I could just put out like market analysis. You could look at a chart and mark it up and be like, oh yeah, this is where the market should go. But with a trading psychology video, I don't know. Yeah. It's probably the biggest, right there with risk management. And then like if I had to rank them, I would say psychology comes number 1. Your risk management techniques come number 2. And the actual edge you use to trade, that's probably like number 3, right? Because you could switch up your trading styles. You could switch, you could flip quarters. You could go supply and demand. If you're well versed in trading, you could switch your strategy up. So like the edge you use to execute on, it's not number 1 or 2. And risk management, that would normally be number 1. But I feel like without decent psychology, you won't even manage the risk well, right? Like you could know where your stop should be, and you could know where you should enter to take a cheap trade, and you could know according to your strategy where you should take profit and set all that up to give you a decent risk reward and all that stuff. But if that psychology isn't right, you'll move that stop. If you're overexcited, you'll move the TP higher. If you're fearful, you'll hesitate and not enter at the right location. So it's like psychology number 1, risk management number 2, and then the actual edge you trade is more like number 3 in my book. Yeah. So yeah, like the difference between trading with micros and minis, that helps, because like, ideally they're the same. Ooh, this shit is gonna stop me out. I should probably take one off here just so when I get stopped out, it ain't for scratch, if it let me. Right? Like, I got a decent entry though, right? Like when I put this on, I don't want to break that high. So I like that reaction next to my entry. But man, that bitch pumped up, didn't it? I don't know. Oh, it's the top of the hour. That was Asia liquidity maybe. Like Asia, the actual Asia kill zone opens up in an hour. But that looked like some type of liquidity injection. Trump tweet head ass. Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm just gonna take one lot off just so when I get stopped out, I don't end up with 0. Because I'll probably end up taking a stop on this trade. That's if those highs get ran. That was a crazy pump up. I don't know why. When I look on YouTube, my charts are blurry. Like, they don't look like that on my screen, but I don't know. I need to fix my streaming. I'll probably look at that this weekend too, because it should be streaming in high def, but it looks like crappy. Yeah, I'll probably close this trade and come back in Asia because I still need to cook. Yeah, man. I traded gold today. I did pretty good on gold. So gold was giving great opportunities today. Even though it didn't get to my TP, I was able to size up and take some decent gold longs. And that's still an option for today, trading gold. Like if NQ wants to get bullish and keep pushing past all the short attempts, I think I'll just long gold because gold should be bullish. I think gold, if gold's going to turn bullish, it could go all the way up to like 29.75. So here in a bit, I'll probably cook something to eat and get those $4 back, bro. Don't forget. Oh yeah, so I had passed the Apex funded from last night, and I blew it yesterday too. The Apex funded, I blew that shit yesterday and went back to Top Step. So that was that. That was my journey with Apex. I passed the little 1 day to pass thing, paid the activation fee, and I was a bit early on long and gold on Apex, and I ended up sizing up. I think I put on two minis, and it went against me. I was up at first, but it was just greed. So I went back to Top Step because you have more room in the account. Like, it's like a trade-off with Apex. You either get a trailing drawdown that follows your high water mark, or you could get the static drawdown, but it's small as hell. So like with my trading style, it's hard to fit all, like if you lose one, maybe 2 trades on Apex, you cooked. So I went back to Top Step. I'm halfway past this combine. I think if I pass it, today, tomorrow, if I make 15, I made 1,500 yesterday. If I make 1,500 today, I'll be funded again by Monday with Top Step, and I'll start the journey off there again. Man, it's been one of those weeks, to be honest. Like, and I mean, it's not nothing I'm used to. I done blew accounts before, but it's just staying disciplined long enough to actually see the payout, Like, it's one thing to do it today, and then it's the consistency with the discipline that's the hard part. Like, you can't not one day come in and just say, oh, fuck it, I'm finna size up and go for it, because that'll be the day, Like, but you get an ego trip when you just passing combines, you putting decent profits in the funded, and you're like, I'm 2 days away, let's go ahead and hit a home run before I request this payout, and then you blow it all, Like, it's like that when you get to that home stretch after you put in all that hard work, that's when it's most necessary to go ahead and lock in and secure the bag. Truth be heard, yeah, it's been one of those weeks for me too. Size down a lot. Been making like 200-ish bucks every day. Yeah, and and that goes a long way, right? Like, that's really like, all right, so the number one Top Step trader, Dakota, you probably see him on Slow Markets if you watch Top Step TV. He'll end the year with like a 300K, 200K, $250,000 balance, right? But then when he reveals his end of the year stats, and you look at like what his average daily P&L is, it's like it's less than 2K a day, And it put it in perspective, like, yeah, he has a some decent home run hits, And then he also has some decent losers, and but he stays consistent, and he ends the year with a decent P&L. But if you just forget about all the big market moves that you could have and just take that 750, that 1K, that 15K day, and just say forget the big whales, I'm just gonna hit base hits, get 1,500 a day, 1,200 a day, and call it quits. You could end up, because that's his average daily P&L is like 1,500, 1,200, up in that ballpark. So like that's really all you need, Like I get big-eyed, like tonight, I wanted the top of the move and just hold a short and be comfortable. That was the motivation behind finding, normally I'd probably try to take the same trade but with like 20 micros, But if I could just get it with, I had 3 lots. If I just get it with 3 lots and it's the top and we have a range on the day of like 1,000 ticks, that's decent. Like from there I could hit a few base hit scalps on some minis, and that'll put me over the benchmark to pass this funded, So it's like little stuff like that, just tweaking my psychology. Like I've been doing this too long. Yeah, I know there's big like grand slam days, and you may get a few, but it shouldn't be what I strive for, Took a toll on my confidence, not gonna lie. And I'm finding it a little difficult to go full size again for me. That's 20 contracts and options. Yeah, and that confidence do come from, it's a double-edged sword, but sizing down will help because it gives you time to prove to yourself that, you do have that win rate. Because like it's your win rate that, that you need to focus on in the aspect of what you're talking about right there. Not so much your risk reward. Your risk reward is important and they go hand in hand. But what you're speaking about there is you were sized up and you were doing great. You had a few losing trades and you lost confidence in whether it's your setup, your execution, whatever, you lost confidence. So yeah, sizing down will allow you to prove that win rate is still there, that the strategy you're trading is adhering to market conditions, right? You probably won't see the gains you're used to, but that'll come after your confidence get back up. So yeah, sizing down is important. I usually have 1-to-1 risk reward, but my hit ratio is 70%. Right. So like, and that's what you experience, right? Like how many losing trades did it take to shatter your confidence? Because if it was 3, then technically you could stay with that same lot size and it was still fitting inside your risk your win rate. But sizing down does help. That kind of risk management style keeps me profitable. Yeah, it could help me too. And like when I'm if I take 2 or 3 back-to-back losers, like take 30 minutes away from the charts minimum, if not like an hour, maybe come back the next session, things like that. Because like if your strategy's working, you shouldn't, if you're on point, you shouldn't take 5 back-to-back stop outs or 5 back-to-back losing trades, So like that's what I need to work on. Yeah, it will. And then when you get the perfect setup, you'll hesitate and it'll cause you to have a bad entry. So yeah. And that's why I say psychology is important. It's real fragile. Like the ego is fragile. The fear is fragile too, because like you could have a couple great winning days and get beside yourself and think you're the king of the markets too. So it's like, I don't know, like emotions are fragile. So if your trade is emotion based, if your trading style is emotion based, then hold on, give me a sec. Yeah, that's what exactly happened to me. I hesitated too much. Yeah, like, because I mean, like, say this wick that just went up here and powered on up here towards like my entry. What if that was my entry? Like, what if I was sitting, I was stalking, and I was fearful, and this was my level to get in. I would have, if I would have hesitated, I would have got an entry down here, like kind of where I took one off, you know. And that little hesitation, the longer you hesitate, that could cause you location. And if this was your invalidation point way up here, now you got to risk more because you hesitated. So it's like, I don't know, that's scary, you know, because that's 3 whole minutes. That's pretty much, you know, what is 180 seconds. It's 180 seconds between a good entry and a subpar entry that could have you on tilt. Like if we didn't come back down here immediately and we was just ranging, and you were staying in negative P&L because your entry was here and it was ranging up here using your support as entry, that hesitation on that execution could put you on tilt for the rest of the night. Like one moment, you know, and you could solve that maybe with limit orders. So if that was your level, you know, you just put a limit order there. And I did that sometimes, but if it keeps powering through, you'll get cooked on it. So like, yeah. Like, I mean, I trade on a 5-second chart, so I completely agree. Like, it's easy to, you know, like my normal execution, like the screen, like this is what I'm trading on. I'm executing on Top Step X, but let me see if I can show you. I think you've probably seen it before. Not this screen. Where is it? I think it's this one. No. I don't know. Give me a sec. Like, not that screen either. Not that screen. I don't know. But you've seen it before though. Like, but I execute on a 5-second chart. So like, you know, if you hesitate, if you have a thought, if you're not confident, you can end up with a bad entry pretty quick. Yeah, but it's all good though. Like, as long as we just stick with the process and get better, you know, like Kaizen, 1% better every day. Like, as long as every day, you know, even if you're not improving on what your problem is, you know, just the awareness of it alone, you know, that's the first step in improving, is first becoming aware of what's wrong, like what the problem is, going back, because it's at that point to where, you know, when you're constantly aware of what the problem is, you're like, you know, I keep rushing my entry, next trade, and it sounds like, you know, you're beating yourself up, but, you know, you're just telling yourself, you keep doing the same shit over and over. It's like, unless you're just you know, I don't, you know, you know, I'm talking about myself. That's the thing with traders when they give advice. They're not really, they're always projecting. It's hard to take advice from others because you always get that feeling, and it's true that all we could do is impress upon others, you know, when we give advice, our own experiences. So when I say this, I'm talking about myself, but like when you keep making the same mistakes and you're constantly aware and you keep telling yourself, it's not that you're beating yourself up when you say, you know, what the fuck, are you a fool or something? Like, why do you keep making but it's at that stage to where it's like, okay, one day it's gonna come where you have to lock in and be like, all right, I'm gonna actively try to correct this mistake. And it's not an overnight thing, it's not an over week thing, it's not even a, you know, it could take all year, you know, but just being aware of what's wrong, right? 5 seconds is wild for me, bro. I started my journey as a swing trader, but then I found out a lot of comfort in day. Yeah. And I started out as I guess, I don't know, like I started out, I guess you could say I was a swing trader when I first started out trading penny stocks, because you wasn't finna get no gains in them overnight. And then with options, when I started trading options, they didn't have 0 DTE. Like, I think the weeklies came out where you could go 1 week till expiration. But I mainly traded the monthly and the 3 months, so that was still swing trade. I didn't go into scalping really until I started trading crypto, and I kind of stayed at that spot for a little minute. And I just recently got back to where, you know, I'm looking to take trades for the majority of the move. Yeah. And I'm scared of zero DTEs. Like, you know, that's crazy town. Like, I know it works, but like if that move doesn't happen when you expect it to, you could be. Just knowing that you could be right and still lose money. Like, that's with all options, and that's with all trading, but more so when time is an actual component of the instrument you're trading, like time decay. So it's like a zero DTEs, I'll probably never trade them. I do like 3 month though. It takes a little longer. Like with a 3 month contract, you could be wrong and still leave the trade with some of your gains, and that's what I like the most about it. You know, that you know, you don't have to be with those zero DTEs. You got to be right with direction, entry, location, and you know, how long it's gonna take. Like, it's just really hunting out my stop. This trade is like, god dang. So yeah, if I get stopped out, I might come back later and probably like get a good start for the actual Asia kill zone. I might just leave this trade, but I think I need to cook something to eat. If I'm gonna stay up all night, I'm probably gonna cook something to eat, like some steak and potatoes or something hearty, because I'm kind of hungry too. I swear this thing just want to take out my stop. Like, if it's gonna be bearish, really it's the prior day's high. So yesterday's high, it had a lot of excess, right? Like, so that was a good end of an auction. You know, if you look at auction market theory, when they talk about weak highs, poor highs, and excess, that's why I like shorts right here, because if this is gonna mark the top of the move up, that late spike we had into the end of the day where we sold off two and put a wick at the high, like, that's a decent high to risk. You know, if I get stopped out, I'm probably gonna try to find me another short entry between my stop and that high, because I think we could hold this high. If we break above that high, then I'm gonna switch to long gold. I'll start looking for gold longs. My biggest trade ever was over 1200%. Best day ever. I know it was, man. Yep. My best trade, the one I remember the most, it wasn't the biggest trade I had, but it was the best trade. Like, my best trade P&L wise was turning $800 into 20K, and it was over a series of trades. But the trade that I loved the most was turning, I want to say $300 into like $500, because I owned a moving company, and when I started, it was just a hustle with a truck and trailer, and my transmission went out, and I had a contract with some furniture stores, and I think I had about $500 to my name, and I put more than half of it up into, I want to say, like, back at the time it was Priceline.com. It's called Booking.com now. PCLN was the ticker. And I spun a week trading options on that and turned that 300 into 5K, and I bought a new moving truck for my company. And so that $300 that I put in, that saved my moving business. So, like, that's the best trade ever. 2K into 22K in one day. Who did that? I turned. Oh, so you turned 22K into? Yeah, that's a good ass deal. Yeah. With my 20K trade, I blew it the next month. So I spent 3 months trading Ripple from like 36 cent, 24 cent, all the way up to that $3.21 high. Back at the end of 2017, 2018. I traded that all the way up. I started with $800 and I traded it all the way up to 20K. And by like the end of January, it was gone. And one trade for you, Yeah, man. That's so I know that bug bit you then. Like, right? Like if it when it happened in one day like that, it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this shit for life, right? Like that's the intro. That's what keeps a trader trading. I don't know what it is. It's like when the trader get that first big win, it's like, but then it's like that's the easiest win ever when you get that big win. But then after that, you see the opportunities to take them, but it doesn't quite come as easy as that. No, I took a week off after that. Yeah, but you didn't go nowhere. See, I'm finna get stopped out. Oh, it's finna run these highs. I need to lock in real quick and see if I'm finna get back in this. Let me see, what is this market doing? Nah, this about to power up. This looks bullish on the 1 minute. Yeah, I'm probably about to, I don't know. I'm probably about to take this stop out though. Like, it would have to come down right now. I probably should have added to it since it was so close to my entry. The 3 minute is bearish, 6 minute is bearish. It's about to take out my stop printing. Let me see what NQ is doing. You would take it at break even? I mean, I still got a risk zone because I'm risking. See this excess wick on this, you know what I'm saying, this run up? I like that excess wick. That's the spot that invalidates my trade. So my stop placement was great. I could have added to it when it went back up here and scaled out again and locked in a little more cushion. But if that stop breaks, I'll have to look for a short in this zone. But overall, I don't want to get my extreme stop, the stop where I'm bullish. See, like I'm even if we broke this, I'd still be bearish on NQ. But if we break prior day's high, at that point I'm bullish and I'll start looking for longs on gold because I think at that point gold would be bullish. But if as long as we hold this, then as long as we hold this high, because that's a nice excess wick. I love that wick. That's an awesome wick. Then you know, that's what I would like to happen, but not sure if it will. But like I say, there's a few time frames that are pretty bullish, but I mean, yeah, for the most part it's bearish though. Like out of all the time frames I look at, I could find 3 that are pretty bullish. So we could, I think there's a chance we could go up, but I think we could draw liquidity from lower before we do. But give me a sec, I'll be right back. What's that say? I'm back. On a side note, what you thinking about moving to another country and trading from there, since we could pretty much do this from anywhere? Yeah, if I had to pick another country, it'd most definitely be Japan. It's playing with my entry. I'm finna steal short one right here. Oh, never mind. Yeah, if I could have got an entry between my stop in there. Well, damn, that should have took more profit. So let me see. Where are we finna go up to? We just wick settlement. Yeah, the 1 minute. That's what's been going through your head. Yeah, I think I could try one more short up here. I'm gonna try a 3 lot. If I get a feel. Watch, it just wicked me out and then it turns around from right here. Do I have to mark it in this? Oh. I don't like that. Come on, come and feel me. Don't just stop powering higher now. You were so bullish a minute ago. I'm gonna try a market order right there. Get rid of that and stop at the high. Let's see if we could power down from here. This is pretty much my same entry for last time, just with a little bit bigger size. How much am I risking? 135? Yeah, I'm gonna take 10 off if we could get a push lower. Been seeing vids on Bangkok. Yeah. And I'm big in the anime and Japanese culture, so I wouldn't mind going to Japan. Yeah, I like that. Keep going. Let me get some continuation. Let me get a big red 1 minute. I'm trying to set it up where I have a free trade again. This market is getting kind of wicky. What, that's the 30-minute liquidity? That's the bottom of the hour now. I'm just gonna take some off there and hold 5. So I'm risking 45. And then I'll get ready to take 2 more off in a minute if we can. Cause today was pretty bullish. I just don't wanna be degenerate long or degenerate short. So now I'm risking 18 and I pocketed 50. So if I get stopped out, it won't hurt. But if this is the top of the overnight, then I meant to take off 3 lots and not 2. I mean, I meant to take off 2 lots and not 3. But it's all good. If I could just sit in a position with a short from the high below that daily high, I'll be happy with that. Even if it is 2 lots. Like, if we have a 200-point down day, that'll be 800 ticks, so I can make $800 off these. You know, that's just if it's 200. Like, if it's a massive sell-off or retracement of yesterday or anything like that, this could potentially, if this is the high of the overnight, the high of the daily candle, this could potentially be a good entry. As long as it's a free trade, I don't care. But yeah, Bangkok rent, yeah, because if you got American money overseas, like yeah, you could be filthy rich and it don't take as much. But I think yeah, Japan. I would go to Chiang Mai. It's trader friendly. Back in my crypto days, it was a lot of Bitcoin traders I knew. They would go to Chiang Mai and live. Bangkok is another one. You got a lot of places around the world. But yeah, I definitely travel though. And then I come back and retire in Miami probably because I love Miami. Like if I could just stay right there. And then Virginia Beach. I went to Virginia Beach a few months ago. I loved it out there too. Like it's everything Miami is, but a little bit more upscale. But everything else, I like the East Coast in general. Like if I had to decide between East or West, I'd definitely pick the East Coast as far as domestic travel. But yeah, I was gone and I came back and I had to lock right back in the trade. But that's when I talk about hesitation, that right there, that would have had me a better entry up there. But I still might get it because I'm willing to add those contracts I took off. Let's see, I could add maybe, if I add 8 more, if we go up there close to my stop, I could take 5 off if we come back down. So like if I add an 8 lot right before I get stopped out, I'm willing to do that. That way I don't risk that much. It'll probably make me break even for the night. As long as it's managed though. Like when I add like that, it's important not to move the stop. Because sometimes you'll be like, all right, if I'm finna add there, I want to give it time. But no, like as long as you don't move the stop, I wouldn't mind that add. But I really don't even want to push back up there after we've been making these wicks. It's like, let me see, let me look at it. So high, low, lower high, lower low, ran all of that liquidity, made a higher low after making a lower low. So, and then we just ran, we broke out. So this might be a breakout. I probably don't want to add. I probably just want to take the stop out at this point. If I get stopped out, I just get stopped out. Cause yeah, if we break that high, I'm bullish. I'm not bullish, but I can see us like, what's the distance in between that high and the high we put in today? It's about 90 ticks. So there may be a little bit more room to short in between. Like my thesis is thoroughly invalidated above that high. Because on the daily chart, that'll be bullish. Like bears are really running out of room to the upside. So shorts are, it's not that shorts are more probable, but they're extremely cheap up here. Because we above 22K. We right below all-time highs. This shit could get bullish if it wants to. My dog comes and knocks on the door like a human. And then when I open it, he just stares at me. I'm like, hurry up and bring your ass in. She gonna look at me like, what's up? Get your ass in here and stop bugging me. Oh, you wanna go outside? No, you're not going outside. You can get under that bed. I'll take you outside in a minute. Yeah, I really need to cook something to eat. I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna walk through the time frames and see what's up, and then I wish we would displace below my entry. That way I could just get up and go get something to eat. Like, but it's just chilling right here. Like, this thing might just motor up. Like, what if all of Asia? What if? Let me look at. Like, what if Asia really hadn't kicked in yet? Asia kill zone hadn't. I think we got 20 minutes. So yeah, like if Asia ranges, not ranges, but if Asia, if there's a trend on Asia and it's to the upside, I can't help but get long this shit. But if we have a pullback, like that shit could be major. Like, let me show you what I'm looking at. Yeah, this one. So like, if Asia retraces some PM session, if we have a trend in Asia today, kind of like this right here, where we put a high in, we dump, we put a high in, but we displace lower for Asia after a bullish New York session, not all the way like this one, but if we could get anything like to where Asia sets the high, and maybe we come back up and take out the overnight high and put in a new high, break yesterday's high in New York, I'll be finished trading by then. But I don't know. I think Asia might have a trend instead of a range today. That's what I'm looking for at least. But I'll know if we break yesterday's high, then Asia's probably gonna trend. All right, it's getting close to time for me to add to this short. Let me see if I could get an add. It's really using my entry as resistance. I want it to get above it a little bit so that me adding doesn't cost that much. Oh shit. I'm not going FOMO in here. I hate adding when you're in profit because it'll move my average entry lower and it increase the risk by a lot. But if I could get 8 lots added close to my stop, That'll be cheap as hell. Yeah, it didn't give me an ad. It really, oh, and then it's putting in an inverse head and shoulders. We got 18 minutes till Asia liquidity kick in. If we break below this low and get below this purple MA and come down here, it's a lot of ifs, but this market could turn around pretty quick. What is gold doing? Gold isn't just like spectacularly bullish either right now. Even though them were on gold executions. Like I scalped the hell out of the 5-minute gold today. That was crazy. That was a good day in gold. Yeah, if NQ start motoring up, I'll just long go. But I'd like to have me a nice short on NQ and let it retrace. Oh shit, I forgot to switch my screen back. I need to fix that. Is that it? That's not the right one. Alright, this might be where I could add. Come on up a little bit more. Where can it go? 21.11. So it really could stop me out and then I re-enter. Is that what it's saying? It's really right here and right now. It's either we go down, yeah. That stop is pretty much on point. Like I don't want to get stopped out or we probably see a decent pump. I don't think I'm gonna get a chance to add to this because my invalidation point is coming lower. Like I could almost put my stop at break even at this point. I think if it's gonna dump, it should happen in the next 3 to 6 minutes. I really wanted to add. could just short a micro. I mean, a mini. Probably get in with a mini right here. If we get back up there to my entry or close to it. Cause like this shit might dump from here. And I'm not really positioned. I'm gonna wait till after Asia liquidity kick in. I might get a spike up. This small ass position is irritating. That's the other part. It's like I'm thinking about the right here, right now. Yeah, this small ass position is irritating, but the thesis is it's the high of the night. In which case, if we do sell off, unless we have like a doji candle on the daily, if we have this the top of the daily candle, then it's a great position, even though it's just 2 micros. But I ain't in no combine to be sitting here. I'm ready to pass this shit and get to the funded. So it's like that part too. Finna get an ad. Here we go. Some kind of indication that it want to dump. Oh shit. I'm gonna go ahead and break even this trade. It's not as good of an entry as my micro position, but if you want to dump, you could sell off here, and I'm probably gonna exit before Asia liquidity. I forgot about that part too, so I'm gonna take that little 100. That's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna pocket that fucking 100. And take it as a scalp. And I'll see if I could get another one off after at the top of the hour in 4 minutes. But that could have been an awesome ass entry though if I would have held it. Oh, that's what I mean, psychology. I was scared to hold this shit. Like, ew. I don't want to pump up. I think I'm just gonna stick with micros because I could have also added 10 micros right there. Like you say. Let's see if you're still here. Brandon, you still there? Oh, I got 8 people watching. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the stream. Not really doing much tonight. No big expectations. Well, I got 5. But welcome to the stream. Yeah, man, I went and cooked me some food too, so it's all good. Still trying to short the top. I'm running out of room though. I don't have much room to short the top. Like, the top needs to be in. Maybe I'll add a little bit more room. How much do I got to risk to go? Oh, it's only $31 to risk a break at a high. So maybe I'll add to this in between here and there. Up. It's pumping up. Pump it up. Dang, I think that might have been my ad right there. Like, are we really finna break a new high today? Are we finna break yesterday's high? That's the question. Are we finna... Oh, shit. Yeah, well, I guess I'm not bearish anymore. And there's that. So I guess I'm going to look for gold longs. But I still made $200 shorting it all the way up. Yeah, I'm looking for longs from this point. That's a new higher high on the daily chart. So, alright, that's enough with the... I know we made a new high today. Take that shit off. Alright, well, I guess it's to go. Because I'm not finna long in Q, but I will entertain gold longs from this point. Gold to 29.75. But I'm finna eat right now, so I'll look for those later. But I'm not finna short in Q anymore. I do know that. I'm finna mute my mic while I eat. Yeah, I had a well at the low end of the range. So like if we were finna dive deep, I had the well call. But for a new breaking yesterday's high, I had a rooster. I'm looking at gold chart, man, and I don't see a place to buy it. Like, the place I want to buy it is way lower. Do I entertain shorting NQ back to where I can buy gold? Or do I just chill out and come back in London session and be happy with the $200? What you in right now, Prima? Are you looking at anything? What you seeing? I'd take the 200. Yeah, but that's no fun though, you know. I guess I could watch anime or some shit. The 200 is an idea, but the market, it's not like the market's dead. It's not like there's an opportunity. And I've been executing half decent, so I don't know if I'm just gonna take the, like, if I was losing, that'd be a reason to take 200, but I'm not gonna short NQ above. Now, if we break back, I don't know. Let me look at Asia kill zone, see what it looks like. Is it trending? Like, is it a strong uptrend for Asia kill zone? Where my kill zone chart at? So far, since Asia kill zone open, we've been going nothing but straight up, and we are using yesterday's high as support currently. Maybe if we fall back inside of the prior day's high, like, I could take a short, right? One last short maybe and risk that high. That's like an idea. Betting that we reject higher prices in this low volume environment, and we don't, I don't know. Like, I can't long gold here. The gold chart just isn't bullish like it's gonna break out to the upside right now. And NQ isn't bearish, so I shouldn't short it. Unless I did it right here, right now, and risk that high. Oh. Yep, I think I'm done, Premi. No, I watched Food Wars. Food Wars was OP. I love Food Wars. But yep, I think I'm done for a little while. I'm actually gonna even make it to where I can't trade. I'm gonna set my risk settings to come back after Asia. That way I'll just chill and look at the charts after Asia kill zone. So I'm done for at least 3 hours. So basically you into the I'm into all anime. I don't discriminate. I'm into everything. But I like Food Wars just because it was realistic. Like the stuff and the cooking strategies, like techniques that they use in that show. It wasn't like they were making up shit. Like the whole hominy and the savory and the, yeah, like it was OP. Like you could learn a lot about cooking just from watching that anime. Like Initial D with driving. But I'll be back on later on, man. I'm finna end the stream here. And realistic, bro. I went to culinary school before trading. Well, I mean, for those who didn't go to culinary school, you could pick up some tidbits from Food Wars. But I'm gonna catch you later, man. If you're on, hit me up. It was for me, man. I enjoyed it. Like as far as like potatoes soaking up meat flavor and stuff and putting it in your foods and stuff. Like it was a lot of stuff in there that like if you do make mashed potatoes and you have the meat sauce and it soaks into it, like you could, I don't know. It was pretty cool. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. But I'm gonna catch you later, man. Hit me up later, or you know, stop by. Probably be in a few hours though.